Uh-oh. Okay. Oh. Okay. It's a little bit after 9 o'clock, so I got a couple little things I need to get worked out, and then I'm going to get started with this live today. Oh, yeah. Everybody's in there, but okay. So if you saw any of my posts on any of the other social media platforms in the last couple of days, you may have seen the post where I talked about this piece right here, that I unfortunately broke the finial while I was buffing it, and it's got some very nice yes, it's got some very nice texturing right here on the base. So I was very upset about that breaking. That was the first time I ever did that, and it's a good opportunity for me because then I'll get a chance to practice. I'll have a little bit of chance to practice doing it. And with the texturing tool, sometimes it can be a little bit, it's difficult to tell exactly what you're going to end up with. So having a little bit of practice at it will help. So anyway, I have this piece of maple here. Let me switch cameras. Okay, so I got this piece of hard maple here chucked up on the lathe, and I'm gonna go ahead. I'm not probably won't turn a actually turn a finial on this, but I am gonna turn this bottom portion here. Turn something very similar to this bottom portion here, so that I have, some of these challenges are presented. So, having to work around this area here. So I may just turn it to about right there. So turn a little bulb, a little fillet here, and then this sweep here down to the base, and then work on trying to get it textured there. So let's get some tools. Let's get on it. Okay. All right. Alright, I'm turning at about 1500 RPM for anybody that would be interested in knowing that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and round this. In order to turn this blank into a finial, you actually don't have to round this over, but I find it does make it a little easier. So we go ahead and round this over, and then Alright, this blank is a little bit smaller than what we're actually going to use for my project, but I think it'll work just fine. I move my tool rest around here a little bit. So I can't actually see the comments section on my computer for some reason.
Are you sure you're live?
I can't see the comments on the computer right now, but my wife is monitoring the chat. So if you guys have questions, she can send those over to me. So anyway, so I got that relatively round. So again, like I said, we're going to be replicating this part here from here down. So I'm going to make this shape. This particular part is called the onion. So I'm going to make the onion, and then this little fillet here, and then down to the base. So let's get on that. No, there's nobody on. Maybe it is. Maybe it is on. Hang on. Alright, I think I'm just going to end the stream. It says there's 2 viewers. Okay, something changed. Look for it now. You see it now? Okay. All right. So I actually was on here at 9 o'clock. I just had the stream set to private. Whoops. My wife pointed that out. So now that we're public again, or public for the first time, now I go back and talk about kind of what I'm going to be doing. So basically, what I'm going to be doing is you may have seen the post over the last few days that I made about this piece right here with the broken finial. The finial has some nice texturing right here around the base, which is the first time I've ever done that. So I was super disappointed when I broke it, right? So I could have probably sanded this a little bit and made it a feature, but I decided to go ahead and replace it so that I could get more practice doing this, right? And I figured I'd do a live and show you guys my process. So this is more of an exploratory. This is more of an exploratory turning, more than a tutorial. I'm really just working out the problems associated with making this particular feature here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be basically I'm only going to be turning this part right here. Oops, sorry. Let me switch cameras. So basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be replicating from the onion portion and this fillet here and then this bottom piece in this demo piece so that I can practice getting it textured here, because the fact that it's shaped like that and with all this in the way can present some issues with getting your tool in there. So I want to replicate that to make sure that I'm taking into account the little unique situation that's presented here. So before when it was on private, I went through rounding this out. Nothing exciting there. So I'm going to go ahead and continue by starting to form the onion shape and the swoop for the base. So while I'm turning this, I'm turning at around 1600 RPM. I'm using a 3/8 inch or spindle gouge with a detail grind that I use for this type of operation for getting into tight details. And I'm going to use that, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of shape this out. Probably spending more time on this than necessary, especially considering that this is just a demo piece. Yes. So my wife tells me that quite a few people are saying hi, so thanks for checking out the live, and welcome. I can't see the chat at all for some reason on my computer, but my wife is filling me in, so thanks for everybody for popping in. Feel free to ask any questions if anything comes up. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the little fillet there at the bottom, and then I'm gonna start working on the sweep here, which is where we're gonna be putting our texture. Finials are one of my favorite things to turn. All of the little intricate work and details. I don't know, it's kind of zen for me. Okay. So now I have my basic shape. Go ahead and part that out, create my shoulder here. Okay. So now we have replicated this lower portion of the finial, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and try to texture it. This is much smaller than I had anticipated. I may have to move to a bigger blank to really get the effect that I want, but since we're here, I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. Yeah, this is a piece of hard maple that I'm turning on. Let's see. I don't know if I can see if I can turn this light on. See if it'll. Nah, just wash it out some more. So I'm using maple. I'm gonna see if I can get this camera down closer. Give me just one sec. Second. All right. That up a little bit. All right. So where's that light coming from? All right. Hopefully that's a little better. Okay. So I'm going to switch one more time to this camera down here at the end. See if I can get it a little bit closer. See if I can show you what's happening here. Believe it or not, I did go through a little bit of trouble trying to get things in place to make this a little less hokey, but I plan on doing more of these lives, and hopefully things will get better as we go. Alright, so you should be able to see the end of this pretty good now. So now what I'm going to be using is, this is the Robert Sorby micro spiraling system. Actually, when you buy the spiraling tool, it comes in this configuration here with the sled. This is made, the sled allows you to do the spot to turn spirals on wood like this. Okay, but without this sled, we can use this to create textures like that. So that's what we're going to try to do right now. Again, it may not show up very well on this piece because it's too small, and if that turns out to be the case, then I'll go ahead and switch out to a bigger piece, and then we'll start the process over again. So, hey Steve, how's it going? Let's see here. Alright, looks like we should be able to get in there. When you're spiraling with this tool, you have to, you know, there's very specific rules about speed as far as cutting spirals, but there's no real guidance really on, or limitations on, what speed you can use to to texture with. So right now I'm at about 1,000 RPM, and we're going to give this a shot. So basically what I'm going to do, this tool only cuts on the top, on the beveled side and the front. The bottom edge isn't sharp. So we got to present those top teeth to allow it to cut. And I want a bit of a spiral shape, so I'm going to apply it at an angle. And I think I probably need to pick this up just a little bit. And here we go. Alright, let's see what we got. Okay, so we got, I don't know if you can see that, but we got a little bit of a spiral pattern there. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to present the tool in the other direction to get a crosshatch. Actually, so I went that way. Well, that wasn't exactly what I had in mind, but you can kind of get the idea there. So we got, this is the type of spiral that I wanted. I don't know. See if I can get you closer. Okay. So this smaller spiral that I got in the other direction is really closer to what I wanted. That bigger spiral wasn't really what I wanted. So let's take a look at how the tool was presented and see if I can't resolve that. Nope, still getting the same thing. Alright. That's not really what I was looking for, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a few more details to this, and then I'm gonna part this off, and I'm gonna set this up again and see if I can get something closer to what I was looking for. Crank the speed back up a little bit for cutting. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Yeah. I think I'm definitely going to switch to a bigger piece of wood. All right. I'm going to sand this a little bit and see if I can't get a marker so I can kind of show you the pattern that we ended up with here. Say that again. No, it didn't track in the same grooves as the first time because I presented the tool in a different direction. So when I presented it the first time, I presented it this way, and then when I presented it the second time, I presented it this way. So it's cutting it. The idea was to get it to cut in a crisscross, which didn't really work out. But anyway, you can see that there is a pattern here. You see, you got this little spiral. Not that that's terrible, but that's just not what I was looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and switch chucks and get a bigger piece of wood on here, and then I'm going to try this again. Okay. So we're still going to be working with hard maple. We're just going to be working with a bigger piece. This is closer to the size that I'll be using for the finial that I'll actually be making from this experiment. So hopefully you'll get give me a chance to get some better details. Okay. So I'm just going to use my rough and gouge here, crank the speed back up to about 1500, and get it back into a cylinder. Alright, now that we got it back around, let's go ahead and form our onion. using the spindle gouge in this way, cutting off this top wing here, can get you a really nice cut, and it also does a great job of wasting away material when you're working on finials. Okay, so my detail gouge gives you a really nice clean cut there, and I'm actually going to make this just a little bit flatter at the base to give more surface area for texturing, now that I'm looking at it. All right, so let's go ahead and give this another try with the texturing tool. Let's put these tools away. All right. So now we gotta just make a little bit of room here so we can get in with the tool. All right. So last time I got a spiral, which I didn't really want. So this time I'm going to try to, actually, I'm going to switch the head around so that I can get the bulk of the screw out of my way. That might help. Yeah. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do to tighten it up, I think I had it laid over more like that last time. So I think I'm going to try to turn it up a little bit more and at a little bit steeper of an angle and see what kind of results I get from that. Hopefully that was my problem. See what we got. Much better. Now that is much better. That's very close to what we kind of have going on right here. All right. So let's go ahead and switch the tool back around, and we'll try to go from the other side. Yeah. While I'm getting ready to make the second cut, I just want to thank everybody again for joining me on this live today, and those of you who haven't already subscribed, feel free to do so. we'll happily welcome you to the Dreadnought family. All right, so now I'm going to try to present the tool in much the same way. We're going to be at a pretty steep angle this way, and I'm going to try to sweep it the same way I did before, and hopefully we're going to get the same results, just in the opposite direction. See what we got. Nope. So I'm thinking. That's closer. Still not quite what I wanted. Alright, that's starting to feel a little bit more. You can kind of see right here at the base that I'm starting to get the kind of spirals that I wanted. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to cut this off, and then we're going to try it again. I got it pretty much the way I want it in the opposite direction, so I think if I part this off, I think I can try to figure out how to get the right shape in this direction. Alright, got a nice clean slate there. Let's give it another shake. Alright. See what we got. That looks pretty good. It's not quite as defined as I'd like it to be. Let's try that one more time. Okay, I think I can live with that. Switch this around. Yeah, I still don't like that. if you missed the beginning of the video, I just want to point out that this video is really less of a tutorial and more of kind of my process for figuring out something new to try at the lathe. So this is just how these things go. You know, if you want to do something different, sometimes you gotta play around with it a bit to get the result that you want, and that's really what I'm trying to do here. I was hoping that if I could get it to work the way I wanted to, I'd have enough time to maybe try some of this this Chroma Gilt Gilding Cream, which is a metallizing product. Nick Agar uses that a lot for his Viking bowls. I had a chance to see some of those in person at the Florida Symposium earlier this year, before coronavirus shut everything down. It's really quite impressive. So when I'm doing it this way, I'm going like that. So it looks like about 45 degrees at 45 degrees. So about 45 degrees at 45 degrees. Still no. I think that's what we want right there. So it looks like the key may have been to lower it. Yes, sir, I think we got it. Let's flip this over. Alright, that is what I was looking for. I don't know how well you guys can see that pattern, but this right here is pretty much exactly what I was looking for. So I'm going to put a few little details in right here at the base. Let's see if maybe this other camera can show it better. So right here at the base, I'm going to cut in a little bit of detail there and a little bit of detail out here on the edge. And then we'll see what we got. Get my speed back up. Okay. So I come in here. Oops. Alright, now that is pretty much exactly what I wanted. Let's see. I don't know if I can get this any closer. Let's see here. Alright, so this is the pattern that I wanted right here. Now, using the, let's see, I'm going to take a little bit of very fine sandpaper. So there's a little bit of 400 grit here, and just take off some of the nibs. All right, And then the next thing that I'm going to do to this is I'm going to go ahead and apply some black dye. Make sure, yeah, we're good. Let's see. Get my glove on here. You know, I guess I have really big hands because all these glove manufacturers, oops, hang on, back this up a little bit. Yeah. All these glove manufacturers put one size fits most on their package, but I guess I'm outside of most. Alright. We don't need a lot of paper towel here because we're not going to be doing a whole lot of dyeing. So this is Tint Dye. My good friend Rebecca DeGroot, I was having some trouble using it at first. I wasn't getting the color that I was looking for, and she told me to stop diluting it. As soon as I did that, oof, I'll be wearing that. I'll be wearing that for a few days. Yikes. As soon as I stopped diluting it, I started to get the results that I was looking for. So the point is, if you're using it and you want rich colors, you want really rich colors from your dyed pieces, don't dilute it. Okay. Now I imagine that I really should be letting this dye cure or dry before I try to apply anything else to it, but as this is just really just a piece to help me figure out what I'm gonna do moving forward, I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with the heat gun a little bit, and then we're gonna see if we can get see what we can get with this gilding paste. Alright, grab me another piece of this. Get rid of all these little lint boogers or whatever you want to call those things. Alright, so far looking good. Let's bring this back in a bit closer. Okay, see if this light helps. Perfect. So now you can see that pattern, right? That came out pretty much exactly the way I wanted it to, and the way that these this gilding cream works is you put a little bit. I read over the instructions real quick. Nick told me how to use it, but I forgot. But I read over the instructions real quick, and basically what you got to do is take, let's see, get this out of here. Okay. So it's recommended that you use a glove. There's a little point on the inside there. Get rid of that. There's a little point inside the cap that punctures the seal in the tube. And then the instructions say, let me get a new glove. Oops. Seems like it's alright. The instruction says to take a very small amount and rub it between your two fingers. Glove fingers, of course. You want a very thin layer. Oops, very thin layer. I'm figuring that's probably thicker than you're supposed to have, but it's just a demo piece, right? So, and then you basically just brush this very lightly over the top of where you want it to go. See if the light helps or hurts. Nah, we don't need that. So that right there is pretty cool. Right. So obviously I'm going to need a little bit of I'm going to need to play with this a little bit to get it precisely where I want it, but I have to say this turned out very well. See if I can get you a better, there we go. So that turned out very well. So what I actually intend to do with this is I'm going to be I make Christmas, hollow form Christmas ornaments most years. And let's see if this other camera looks better. Okay, there we go. I make hollow form Christmas ornaments most years. And I'm going to be doing that again this year. And I'm planning on, man, this is difficult. All right. So, and I'm planning on using some of these gilding creams to add some metallic elements to those ornaments. And the dye, actually what it does is it gets down into the grooves and it gives it more of a worn look or a weathered look, or whichever way you want to go with that. So with this, what I would probably do is I go back and right in this area right here, I would go ahead and just cut a bead in to contain that silver color versus going back in and taking it off of this curved area here. So, okay. So that was pretty successful. My live got off to a pretty slow start, but I was able to achieve my goal. The experiment was a success, and I'm really looking forward to using this on some upcoming projects, because as you know, I really do like making things with finials on them. Yeah, and this is going to definitely class it up a couple levels. So I encourage you guys to thank you everybody for joining me for this YouTube live. This is the second time I've done this, and I know that it may have been a little clunky, but I'm going to be getting much better at it. You'll be seeing me do these more often in the coming future. So again, I like to say thank you for joining me in my workshop today, and remember to dreadnought and make something. Yes. What tool? Okay. I'm not sure if the person that's asking about the tool is asking about the turning tools, but these are all the tools I use today are Robert Sorby tools. This is the Excelsior 3/8 inch spindle gouge that I've ground to a detail. Let's see. I've ground to my favorite detail profile, and that allows me to get in and cut these sharp details on my finials. This is the texturing and spiraling tool. This is the micro version. There's actually a much larger one for working on bigger pieces. And the other tools were a roughing gouge and a parting gouge are the tools that I use today. So the paste, from what I read in the instructions, let's see, I just read that just a minute ago. So from what I read in the instructions, it's recommended that you put some sort of coating over the gilding paste. In here it's saying, let's see, for best results apply, let's see, create a more intense effect, second coat. Okay. For a superior protective finish, use Chroma Craft WR20 or a light application of clear acrylic spray lacquer as a top coat. So I guess you could put lacquer or whatever your favorite top coat is. I actually will be experimenting with CA glue to see how that works with this. That may not work out because typically the textured things don't work out that great with it, and the solvents in the CA may dilute it. But I imagine that according to the instructions, you could spray on a coat of lacquer, no problem. Star Wars, definitely. I'm not a Trekkie. No, I haven't used any of the rotary type texturing tools to date. I've considered using. I've thought about trying those because you can get some different effects with it. But at this point, I'm just using the two different sizes of these tools. All right. So if anybody else has any more questions, now's the time because I'm getting ready to wrap this up. You know, I probably said it way too many times, but I really appreciate you joining me on this little adventure here. I hope that there was some information that you can use in your wood turning. And like I always say, dread not and make something. Peace. All right, I think I just ended it. There we go.